Well, hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Space Cowboy here with another video for you guys here today, and we got to talk about this absolute banger of a game that we got for America's Game of the Week in the afternoon slot between the Eagles and the Cowboys. It was a really damn good game, and I understand the Cowboys could not pull off the late miraculous comeback versus the Eagles and dropped to 5-3 after a 28-23 loss. But it was one heck of a game. I mean, I was at the edge of my seat. I'm pretty sure every fan involved, Cowboy fan and Eagle fan involved, were having their hearts racing. It was just a fantastic game. You know, you had Dak Prescott doing his thing, Jalen Hurts doing his thing, these defenses just trying their best to hold down the opposing offense. You had moments in this game. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if this ends up being like a throwback game that we look back on in terms of where the teams were at and how they competed. But I digress. We're going to dive into this game, what this means for the Cowboys, and what is the next steps for this team moving forward. Now, before we get any further into this video, if you guys could do me a solid favor and please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell as well. It helps support the channel and fight against the YouTube algorithm, so thank you so much for your love and support there. Now, I'm uploading this well after the game concluded because I wanted to get my thoughts together, and I wanted to really think long and hard about how this game went. Should I be really upset with this team? What are my thoughts? Everything. So, you're entering the midway point at 5-3. You're not totally SOL, but you have some work to do. A win here would have been monumental for the Cowboys, considering the fact the next stretch of games they have upcoming, you need to stack as many wins as possible. Now, I want to first look at how the game went, statistically speaking, how things went, and then we'll touch up on what's next for this Cowboys team. So to start things off, as I take a look, when we look at both of these teams, Dallas was relatively efficient on third down. They've converted third down 6 out of 15 times compared to the Philadelphia's 50% at 7 of 14. Dallas was 3 of 5 on fourth down. Now, of course, the last play was a fourth down, but point being, you know, there was another fourth down call where had certain things gone certain ways, that would have been a touchdown, but it is what it is, and that's something I'll mention at the very end. Dak Prescott played fantastic. I mean, 29 for 44, 374 yards, and 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Great job. Jalen Hurts did his thing too. I mean, 17 for 23, 207 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, man, listen, these two guys played very damn well. Both of them put their teams in the best position possible to win. I understand people will try to clown on Dak for not getting in on the 2-point conversion, but at the end of the day, you know, this game could have gone a whole lot differently. You know, the fact is that the Dallas Cowboys nearly pulled off the improbable. And there are people bringing up the referees, and trust me, the refs absolutely were atrocious. And there were calls where, you know, it was illegal hands to the face, but they picked up the flag, or they threw a flag when the ball was thrown away because they thought it was pass interference. No holding calls, but to me that wasn't the reason the Cowboys lost this game. In fact, the real reason why you lost this game was because, defensively speaking, you couldn't get a turnover. And you had 3 opportunities to do so. In fact, with one of the opportunities, that would have been the ability for you to take a touchdown off the board. The other one was at the very end of the game where if Micah Parsons or someone falls on that, you have a timeout and about a minute or 40 seconds or whatever the fuck, you have plenty of time and you're on the 30-yard line of Philadelphia with the timeout to work with, and you could possibly win the game there, but you didn't, and you had to make this offense drive down the field once again. This run game didn't work, but what's more important is that this team didn't get rigid. They didn't get stuck in their ways. Now, at first, I was like, why the hell are we playing scared? But after that first drive, the Cowboys settled in offensively. And I got to give Mike McCarthy props for this. And I understand that this game wasn't perfect, but he was aggressive and he stayed aggressive. And I was for that. Listen, the call to go for it on fourth down in the, on the goal line and considering where you were at, yeah, you needed to go, that's fine. The only problem was you can argue that should have been defensive pass interference, but it's okay. Listen, Schoonmaker, he just didn't move over enough. But the thing, too, that bothers me is on the offensive side of the ball, Jalen Tolbert, man, and Jake Ferguson had some nice plays. But CeeDee Lamb, he stole the show, man. Almost 200 total yards, more specifically 191 receiving yards. I mean, good golly gosh, man. Like, he was killing them. But what infuriated me was Michael Gallup having a key drop, which led to a field goal, which if the Cowboys continue to drive, maybe it's a touchdown. And we're, again, talking about a whole different game. But that's key. You can't have those mistakes happen. And then on top of that, you have a situation to where Brandon Cooks wasn't really utilized as much at all. Jake Ferguson maybe should have had a little bit more of an opportunity. I mean, it is what it is, but the thing that bothers me the most is Terrence Steele. It's like he's regressed closer and closer to what he looked like in 2020 when he came into the league, where he looked like a turnstile. Now, I don't think he is that terrible when he first, but he's not good. He's the weakest link on the offensive line. And considering the fact that Tyler Biadasz didn't look good, I don't know what to say, man, because you just paid this dude and there's no alternative in front of you. You can't put a Sim Richards out there or Chuma Adoga because, unfortunately, if you know how this team operates, they put people on the field that get paid. You're just going to have to ride this thing out with him, and I think mentally he has not returned from that injury. And we've talked about it. Dak Prescott, over the past couple games, has been using his legs. He feels a lot more comfortable, and you're seeing that play out with how well he's been playing after the bye week. You then also have to factor in that Michael Gallup has gone through this. And I don't know if he's still in that cloud. And Tony Pollard too. It really looks like Tony Pollard just doesn't want to put in that effort. Whether it's because he's scared he's going to get hurt again or something else, I don't know. But that needs to be fixed, because if not, you're going to have some problems. And I don't know what the solution is, guys. I'm sorry. I just don't. You can't move on from Terrence Steele, and I don't want to make an overcorrection. But, dude, it's killing you. Defensively, I mean, Jordan Lewis, man, he sucks. He does. I'm sorry, but he does. He got picked on. And he has been getting picked on a lot. And I think this is where you are missing a guy like Trevon Diggs, because if Trevon Diggs is available, then Deron Bland is taking Jordan Lewis's spot, making it a lot easier to mask the deficiencies of the defense. But it is what it is, man. It wasn't like the Cowboys got blown out. There is going to be this narrative where people think that the Cowboys can't contend with the big boys. I don't believe that's true. The Cowboys were in this thing to the very end, and you just didn't have the ball bounce your way. It happens. I'm not defending the performances of certain individuals in this game for what it was. It was what it was. I'm sorry. I don't want to diminish the fact that you made mistakes. We did make mistakes. We should have won this game, but you didn't. So what's next, right? You lose this game to Philly. You're 1-1 in division play. Now you have a bunch of division games coming up. In fact, Next week, you got the Giants, and Daniel Jones is going to be out. I'm not sure if Tyrod Taylor is going to be playing. It could be Danny DeVito's lost cousin, whatever the hell his name is. We're 15.5-point favorites. It's not a gimme game. What I want to see now, because you're 5-3, you're right now the 6th seed as we enter the midway point. And the Seahawks are in front of you due to tiebreakers. The good news is you play Seattle at home. You're going to need to win that game because they are the only other team in front of you that is contending for that 5th wildcard spot. So, at this point, you have the Giants. Get to 6-3. That is the goal. You need to... I understand the schedule we got in front of us, but my main thing is that we need to take this thing week by week, and our goal should be to punch our ticket to the tournament. I would love to win the NFC East, but right now you squandered that opportunity. You will play the Eagles again. This is not the last time we'll play the Eagles. But you need to do your part. You do. And I need to see this team do its thing. They need to take this game for what it was and say, all right, we didn't lay over and die. We tried our damnedest to win this game, but we didn't do enough. Here's why this thing didn't work, and they need to go into next week, and they need to win. There is no excuse for why you lose to this Giants team. I had the Cowboys at 5-3. I didn't pick them to win this game, and I'm not happy about that. But the fact of the matter remains is that you need to take care of business when you have the ability to take care of business. You failed to do that tonight. So you better damn well do it on Sunday. Because if you don't win, not even just Sunday, if you fail to keep in pace with the Eagles, say goodbye to trying to win the NFC East, which I personally think it's not over, but it's a lot harder. Your margin of error is a lot smaller. Now, the good news for Dallas is I do think they'll be in wild card contention, and what they need to worry about is getting that top wild card spot. I don't want to go on the road versus San Francisco for our first playoff matchup. And especially considering the fact that if you are the 6th seed, what's going to end up happening is that you will have to play most likely the 49ers, and then assuming that the 2 seed wins, you're going to have to go on the road to play Philadelphia, who's right now the number 1 seed in the NFC. That's a tough stretch of games. Not undoable, but it ain't easy, and it's the Cowboys' job to make the road to this to where they want to go easier. So, right now, throw out the division part. We have a 4-game set. They need to go at minimum 3-1. They need to take care of business versus New York, versus the Panthers, versus the Commanders. You need to take care of those 3 teams. You might have a what the hell loss in there, but you need to win those games. Or at least 2 out of the 3. You need to be able to beat Seattle and try to beat Philadelphia, not for the sake of trying to win the division, but staying on course with being that top wild card team. That's the goal right now. This team is not dead. This season is not over. If anyone's saying that the season's over, shut the fuck up. We got plenty of time. I'm not saying that this team's going to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying this team's going to make it to the 3rd round of the postseason. We do have to recognize that this team is what it is. They're a good team. Are they a great team? Most likely not. They need to change the perception. So, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I apologize for being a bit long-winded here, but it is what it is. We lose. It's on to New York. We'll talk about that game as we get a bit closer. And, just tell me what you guys think about the game. Anyways, guys, I'll let you guys go. Have a good one. Goodbye.